It is generally understood that if you have disc-based pain, so nerve pain which travels, you should avoid forward bends in yoga. And to some degree that is true, but it's a bit more complicated than that. And the general recommendation is that if you do back bends, particularly the cobra pose, that would be helpful. And again, to some degree that's true, but it's still a bit more complicated than that. When you have nerve pain, sciatic pain, it travels down your leg, the movement you create isn't a bigger factor as the compression that you're experiencing in your lower back. What I mean by that is you can do flexion, which theoretically would trigger your pain, but if you do so having space in your lower back, feeling like hydrated and feeling long from your pelvis to your ribs, you can flex and feel absolutely fine. And the general recommended pose, which is cobra pose, you can do cobra pose, but if you feel very compressed, you can still irritate your lower back and trigger sciatic pain. I guess what I'm saying is when it comes to sciatica, in my experience, it's less about the movement you make which can trigger your pain and more about how you're kind of holding your body or how your body's holding itself. The key in yoga, as I always teach, if you have disc-based pain, is to ensure that you have space from your pelvis, from the top of your pelvis all the way up to your ribs, and then you ensure that space and you continue visualizing that space. You want to leave the class feeling longer in that area, so you've created space for your discs to breathe, and so there's less compression. You know what I mean? Anyway, there is so much more context that is needed and so much more, there are so many more nuances as well. So you could go onto my website and check out my blogs, it's a free resource, or you could stop being a cheapskate and actually buy an online CPD at my website where I go over all the details of lower back pain. I cover it in great detail, as well as anatomy for beginners or beginners look at anatomy, and there's even an advanced 300-hour level anatomy course too. If you have any questions for me, feel free to reach out.